think he needs to earn it. I think he needs to fight either Oliveira or Justin or even Patty right now to show the fans that, all right, he is a lightweight. Because you're going to look at it and then you're going to see how much bigger Islam than is him.
There is no size difference between Ilia and Islam. It's a 145 versus a 155.
Belal Muhammad takes aim at Ilia Topuria for demanding a title shot against Islam Makhachev, calling it undeserved. On the other hand, Chael Sonnen questioned the idea that Islam Makhachev has a big size advantage over Ilia Topuria, pointing out that a 10-pound difference between weight classes is minimal. Sonnen dismissed claims that Ilia has no chance as overly extreme, saying top wrestlers know the toughest opponents are often the best from the class below.
Do guys that size not know? I mean, there is a different size of guy. Like, there's little guys that don't know they're little guys, and then that's really offensive. It's like really offensive if you call them. I'm not attempting to be offensive. Do 45 pounders and 55 pounders not know? You weigh the same thing. You weigh the exact same thing. If you get on a scale and it says 145, and another dude gets on the scale and it says 155, that scale says the exact same thing. Are you not aware of that? Do guys that size not know that? There is no size difference between Ilia and Islam. It's a 145 versus a 155.
Michael Bisping believes Khabib Nurmagomedov may not want Islam Makhachev to fight Ilia Topuria due to criticism about Islam facing smaller opponents. Still, he says Ilia is the best option. If not, Islam should face the winner of Belal Muhammad versus Jack Della Maddalena, even though a fight with Belal likely won't happen due to their training history. If Jack wins, Bisping feels Islam has earned the right to move up and take that fight.
Now, Khabib Nurmagomedov doesn't want Islam to fight Ilia. The narrative is like, oh, he's beating up smaller guys. I think the fight to make is Ilia Topuria. If that doesn't happen, Islam sticks to his guns. If he was to say, no, I want to fight the winner of Jack Della Maddalena versus Belal Muhammad, because he is such a great champion, because he has taken short notice fights, because he's the most successful lightweight on planet Earth in the history of the sport, there ain't going to be any crazy talks of stripping Islam Makhachev. That just isn't going to happen. I don't think Islam's scared of anybody. He wants to move up to 170 though, take on the winner of Belal Muhammad and Jack Della Maddalena. Maybe that's what he's waiting for. Of course, if it is Belal, he ain't going to fight Belal Muhammad. They've been training partners before. Khabib Nurmagomedov has been very strict, so they aren't going to fight. But if it's Jack Della Maddalena, then 100% Islam Makhachev has earned the right to move up to 170 pounds.
Moreover, Daniel Cormier shared his respect for Ilia Topuria, but firmly stated that Islam Makhachev isn't afraid of him. As someone who's known Islam for years, Cormier emphasized that fear isn't part of his mindset. He added that fighters like Justin Gaethje, Charles Oliveira, Dustin Poirier, and Michael Chandler also don't fear one another, because when you're a true fighter, fear doesn't play a role.
Ilia Topuria is a cool guy, but I kind of disagree. Well, I know for sure Islam Makhachev is not afraid of him. I'll tell you this, as a person that's a friend of Islam, a person that's known Islam for years and years and years, he's not afraid of him. So while Ilia Topuria may strike some fear in most, or some, Islam's not afraid of him. And honestly, I'll be honest with you, like, neither is Justin Gaethje, neither is Charles Oliveira, neither is Dustin Poirier or Michael Chandler. Those guys aren't afraid of each other. They're fighters. And when you're a fighter, fear is kind of the last thing that crosses your mind in regards to another fighter.
However, Belal Muhammad criticized Ilia Topuria for demanding a lightweight title shot without proving himself in the division. He said Ilia needs to fight contenders like Arman Tsarukyan, Justin Gaethje, or even Paddy Pimblett first to earn it. Belal warned that if Ilia skips the line and loses, people will dismiss Islam Makhachev's win, just like they did when he beat a smaller Alexander Volkanovski.
I think he needs to earn it. I think he needs to fight either Oliveira or Justin or even Paddy right now to show the fans that, all right, he is a lightweight. Because you're going to look at it and then you're going to see how much bigger Islam than is him. And then there are people who are going to say the same thing that what happened when Islam beat Volkanovski. Oh, well, you just beat a 45er. That's all you did. He's smaller. Look at his title reign. It was a 45er, another 45er, but Volkanovski at the time was #1 pound for pound.
Paddy Pimblett also dismissed the idea of Ilia facing Islam, as he thinks Ilia just defended the title once, and he's not a star like Conor McGregor.
I can't see Ilia fighting Islam. He's only defended the belt once, and he's not that big of a star to just jump. He's not McGregor, you know what I mean? To just jump right up and fight for the other belt.
Khabib Nurmagomedov also has the same thoughts as he said Ilia Topuria hasn't done enough to deserve a title shot. He believes Islam Makhachev should focus on facing proven, top-level contenders, especially as he gets older and his time at the top is limited. Khabib emphasized that Ilia still needs to earn his place by beating elite competition first.
И он дрался, и он даже дрался с чемпионом 66, летел к нему. Сам на то, да, в Австралию полетел, у него там на заднем дворе подрался. Команда, мы считаем, что Топурия, он достойный боец. Но он чемпион, защитил пояс, выиграл очень серьезных ребят. Но эти все ребята, которые были в 66, даже тот же самый Холлоуэй, которого он выиграл, он перешел на 70, он ничего не сделал. Из-за этого нам нужно, чтобы Исламу тоже немного осталось. Если так посмотреть, Исламу скоро 34 будет. Но Ислам тоже хочет драться не с Топурией и с Волконовской, или который вышел на замену с Майканом. Ислам хочет драться с большими именами, которые заслуживают, которые давно уже в 70 килограмм. Ты переходишь вес, заслужи, и у нас примерно вот такая позиция.
In another video, Chael Sonnen responds to Khabib Nurmagomedov's comments by acknowledging Khabib's strong belief in Islam Makhachev's greatness, especially given that Islam has never lost at 155 pounds. Sonnen understood Khabib's frustration with Ilia Topuria moving up to challenge Islam without having proven himself in the lightweight division. However, Sonnen pointed out that Khabib's own suggestion for Islam to move up a weight class to challenge for another title mirrors what Topuria is doing by jumping to 155, making Khabib's stance a bit inconsistent.
I appreciate very much Khabib's position. Let me change the words, but tell you Khabib's position. He represents a guy named Islam. He cares greatly about this guy, and he thinks he's the best fighter in the world. And this guy has never lost at 155 pounds. Don't correct me. Please don't take the time to correct me. He's never lost at 155 pounds. He's proven that he's actually the best. Then another guy is coming in from a different division, who, while doing great in that division, has not proved himself at all in this division. This, the one that Khabib's pupil has done so well in. And one of Khabib's remedies, while ignoring this guy, who's done a great job, but he didn't do it here, one of Khabib's remedies is to take his guy up a weight class. Doesn't matter who the opponent, as long as they got the belt, try their hand there. You're going, okay, but what you're describing for Islam to do, or potentially to do, or that you would like him to do, is exactly what Ilia's trying to do. What you're describing and suggesting Islam do next is exactly what Ilia is in the process of doing.
Sonnen also argued that Topuria, as an undefeated world champion, is a legitimate contender in the lightweight division despite not having fought there before. He pointed out that dismissing Topuria's accomplishments at featherweight just because they weren't in the 155-pound division weakens the argument against him. While some may claim Topuria hasn't proven himself at lightweight, Sonnen believes that this should not discredit his journey or ambition.
I think the argument gets a little bit tough. Like, it doesn't sound that bad. For me, talking about Ilia Topuria, you got an undefeated champion of the world who's now in your weight class. Obviously, he's the #1 contender. But for other guys to go, well, but he hasn't proved it here. Matter of fact, look, he's got no ranking here. He's got no wins over anybody here. We don't discount what he did, but he didn't do it here. Okay, that's a little bit weak, but kind of hard to argue against.
On the other hand, Benail Dariush stated that while Ilia Topuria might be the most deserving new face in the lightweight division, he doubts that Islam Makhachev and his camp would be eager to offer another title shot to someone coming up from featherweight. Dariush noted that after already facing 2 opponents from 145 pounds, Makhachev's team likely feels that chapter is closed and now prefers fresh matchups within the 155-pound class. He acknowledged that while Topuria presents a unique threat, his history in the featherweight division makes the potential fight a difficult sell for Islam's side.
If Ilia is coming into the division, I honestly think he's the most deserving, but I don't think Makhachev and his team right now want to give a shot to another 45er. I think they feel like they did it twice. That's enough, you know. Now they want contenders, and at the same time, but Makhachev also wants to fight new guys. So it's kind of one of those things where you're stuck because you have a new opponent, but he's a former 45er, and you're like, I don't want to fight another 45er. So it's a weird.
Joe Rogan also disagreed with Khabib's perspective, stating that it's clear Ilia Topuria has earned a shot at the lightweight title. He pointed out that when a reigning champion like Islam Makhachev moves up and defeats big names such as Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski, it paves the way for the next contender. Rogan called it an obvious decision, stressing that Topuria has proven himself and is ready to make the leap to 155, no longer staying at 145.
That's the fight to make, because you have a world champion versus a world champion. Like, if anybody deserves a fight for the world title in the next weight class, it's you. It's simple. It's simple. Yeah. You knocked out Max Holloway. I mean, it's simple. You knocked out Alexander Volkanovski, one of the greatest of all time. It's simple. That's a no-brainer. That's the fight.
Alexander Volkanovski shared his thoughts on a potential matchup between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria, acknowledging that while Islam would be a tough challenge for Topuria, Ilia definitely has the ability to catch him. Volkanovski praised Topuria's striking, particularly his boxing, and highlighted how focused he is on finding the perfect moment to land his punches. He noted that even if things aren't going in Topuria's favor, he remains patient and determined to capitalize on any opening. However, Volkanovski also pointed out that Islam would likely play it safe, knowing he needs to be defensive against Topuria's powerful strikes.
Yeah, so it's look, it just comes to can Ilia catch him? You know, that's what is, and he definitely can. Ilia's very, especially with his approach. He really backs his strike and his boxing. He really knows that he will eventually find the chin, and he's stoic till that happens. You know what I mean? He is on task, and he doesn't. You know what I mean? He'll go even if things aren't working. He's still going to try and find it. So I think Islam's going to be a tough matchup for him because Islam can be quite defensive and safe. I think he's going to know he needs to play it safe with Ilia because he knows Ilia is going to have that puncher's chance.
Michael Chandler noted the size difference between Islam Makhachev and Ilia Topuria, with Islam being the bigger lightweight. While he praised Islam's grappling, Chandler gave Ilia the edge in striking. He emphasized that if Ilia can avoid being taken down, he could have a chance. But ultimately, Islam's strength, experience, and well-rounded game likely give him the advantage in the matchup.
If Islam fights Ilia, I mean, I think there's definitely a size difference. I think Ilia is a lot smaller than Islam. Islam is a big lightweight, a tall lightweight, and he's good in every area. However, Ilia's definitely got the edge in the striking department, and Ilia is very, very, very patient. Now, if he's able to not get taken down and he's able to just patiently break down Islam with those big shots that he lands, the big punches that he lands, it's going to be a good night for Ilia. But I think if Islam gets his hands on him and gets him taken down, I mean, grappling with 145-pounders is a lot different than grappling with Islam, who is one of the best grapplers that we've seen in a very long time. He's strong. He's great at doing damage and getting good positions. I'd have to give the edge to Islam just by size, by strength of schedule thus far and defending the belt, but I wouldn't count Ilia out.
Mateos Gamrot shared his thoughts on a potential fight, calling it an interesting matchup, but expressing doubts about Topuria's chances. He pointed out that Topuria is the smaller fighter, while Islam has a clear size advantage. Gamrot emphasized that to compete with someone like Makhachev, you need to have similar strength and size, as Islam is well-rounded and dominant in all areas. He concluded that a smaller physique could make it difficult for Topuria to succeed in such a fight.
For me, interesting fight, but but I don't know. Topuria is small guy. Islam is really big guy, and I don't think that Topuria has changed against him. You know, like if you wanna fight with Islam, you have to be like big guy, like similar like him, because he is good everywhere. But if your body is smaller than him, so you don't have change for sure.
Arnold Allen understood Islam Makhachev's hesitation to fight Ilia Topuria, believing Islam wants to face legitimate contenders to solidify his title reign. While Islam may not want to fight another smaller opponent, Allen acknowledged that Topuria is a significant challenge. He speculated that an impressive win over Ilia would boost Islam's legacy, but also recognized that Topuria has defied expectations before. Despite this, Allen predicted Islam would likely dominate the fight.
I understand why Islam wouldn't want it, right? He wants to fight legit contenders, and he's had like featherweights, ex-featherweights, late notice guys, replacements. He wants to sort of solidify his title reign, but probably is no bigger fight than Ilia, right? If he goes and batters Ilia, it looks pretty good.
Do you think he beats Ilia?
These guys, I don't know. To be honest, I've ruled him out a few. Oh, we're gonna get run. Hello.
About to get ran over.
Good.
Sorry. My bad.
I don't know. Every time I've ruled him out, he proves me wrong. So I'm not going to do it again. Yeah, like I say, I think Islam wins and he gets ironed out. So
Dustin Poirier expressed that if Ilia Topuria can prevent Islam Makhachev's takedowns, his superior boxing and power could give him an advantage. Poirier acknowledged Islam's improved striking, noting his increased craftiness and elusiveness. Reflecting on his own fight with Islam, Poirier mentioned that Islam fought at an unconventional range. However, he ultimately felt that the size difference between Islam and Topuria would be too much for Ilia to overcome.
I mean, if he can stop the takedowns, I think his boxing is better than Islam's. I think he's a bigger puncher. Yeah. Islam's technique is getting a lot better on the feet. He's kind of crafty and elusive. When I fought him, he fought at a weird range, but I think the size difference is just too much, I believe.
Cody Brundage shared his thoughts on the possible fight between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, noting Ilia's recent impressive victories, particularly his knockouts of top fighters like Max Holloway and Alexander Volkanovski. He stated that if Ilia were to defeat Islam as well, he would certainly be considered one of the greatest fighters of all time, potentially even cracking the top 3.
It's a crazy fight. We talked about that. Yusuf obviously at 145, he's on a tear. He's making his come up, and he wants that Ilia fight so bad. They already fought once, but we were talking about if Ilia goes in and knocks out Islam Makhachev, like how high do we put him on the GOAT list, right? Like to me, I'm like, John Jones is number 1 no matter what. I don't think anybody could surpass John Jones for a long time. Obviously it would take a ton, but everyone in my circle at least is like, man, if he goes and knocks out Islam after knocking out Holloway, after knocking out Volk, he's got to be up there like top 3.
Despite this, Brundage highlighted that Ilia's grappling abilities are often underestimated, as he is a skilled wrestler and a black belt with strong submission skills. Nonetheless, Brundage leaned toward Islam winning the fight due to the size disparity, which could be a significant factor as both fighters are highly skilled. He ultimately believed the matchup would be a thrilling and competitive contest.
And he could do it. I think people, he's been knocking all these people out. People really sleep on Ilia's grappling. He's a super high-level black belt with really good submissions, really good wrestling. And so I think people are worried, saying, oh, well, he'll get out-wrestled, but he has great wrestling. So, man, I don't know. I would have to go with Islam because he's bigger, and I think weight maybe plays a factor when you have 2 really highly skilled guys, but that would be an absolute banger of a fight.
Jorge Masvidal expressed strong belief in Ilia Topuria's grappling abilities, confidently stating he would bet everything on him. Masvidal emphasized Ilia's powerful offensive grappling, particularly his knack for defending against takedowns. He explained that if an opponent attempts to take Ilia down and makes an error, Ilia could swiftly reverse the situation, taking control and potentially putting the opponent in a challenging spot.
I'd bet the house on Ilia. His grappling offensively, it's very good. If you shoot in on this guy's legs and you make a mistake and you're the one going for the takedown, he has a very good chance that he might put your ass to sleep.
Aaron Pico expressed excitement about the matchup, noting that it's an intriguing fight for both the sport and the fans. He recognized that every fighter brings their own unique style to the table, and Ilia Topuria has certainly found success with his approach. However, Pico believes that Islam Makhachev's skill set and experience would prove too much for Topuria to handle.
I think it's good for the sport, to be honest with you. I mean, him and Islam, people really want to see that. Everybody has their own style, and it seems like his style is just doing what he did. Honestly, I believe Islam is just a little too much for him, but I'm also a fan, so I would love to see that.
Mike Perry shared his excitement about the potential fight between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev, calling it an electrifying matchup. He praised Ilia for his impressive performances and highlighted the passionate fan support for both fighters, with Spain backing Topuria and Russia rallying behind Makhachev. Perry believes the fight would create an intense atmosphere, driven by the immense energy and enthusiasm from the fans.
Ilia versus Islam is a really cool fight. Ilia's been great. The people of Spain and versus the people of Russia We know there's two really big support systems there. That's a great fight.
Bo Nickal views Islam Makhachev as the current pound-for-pound #1, but believes Ilia Topuria could pose a serious challenge. He pointed to Volkanovski's wrestling in their first fight with Islam, suggesting that Topuria might have the skills to effectively compete with Islam's grappling and overall abilities.
I think he's the pound-for-pound #1 right now, and I think he can win. And what makes me think that Ilia will do really well against Islam is that Volk's first fight with Islam, I'm like, man, Ilia's wrestling is way better than Volk's. And obviously, you could see how the striking went.
Jamahal Hill expressed firm confidence in Ilia Topuria's chances against Islam Makhachev. He highlighted Ilia's hand speed, striking creativity, and knockout power, stressing that if Ilia lands clean, he has the ability to finish anyone, even those in higher weight classes.
I believe he's capable of beating Islam. Just what I've seen and personally too, just like hand speed, and the tricks and the way he plays with his striking game. I believe he's definitely capable of catching Islam. And if he catches anybody, I believe he can knock them out. I believe his power might even carry. Not saying that his size and things like that, he can move up to like those higher weight classes, but if he catches it, the way he hits it, somebody even in bigger weight classes get like that, he can put them on wobble street.
So what are your thoughts on this? Share your thoughts in the comments section, and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.